Riders ready, and away we go. Huge start list for our Pro Men's Field, 136 riders. 23 laps.
That is some brand commitment right there, guys. I mean, I guess he's got to ride Specialized the rest of his life, right? He's riding a Specialized now. Hopefully he got a free bike out of the deal. Anyway, this is the Elgin road race, and I apologize in advance to all you Illinois folk if it's pronounced Elgin. I really don't know. I'm from California. We're gonna commit to Elgin though. And this is stage 3 in the Intelligentsia Cup Series. This is the men's P12 field. This also happens to be the Illinois State Championship race, road race. And it's stage 3 in the Intelligentsia Cup, the 10-stage Intelligentsia Cup Series. So they call it a road race, and that's because it's like 70 miles or something like that, I want to say. But basically it's a long crit. You can look at the course. There's tons of chicanes, there's tons of up and downs, and it's basically just like doing, 3 crits back to back to back. So I didn't get a great start. I was towards the back at the beginning, and a breakaway snuck away. And it had 4 strong guys for sure, but it was still missing 2 of the major teams, namely the Floyd Landis team, Floyd's of Leadville, and also the team in all blue, Team Novo Nordisk. So I was kind of relying on them to do some of the chasing, and before I turned the cameras on, earlier in the race, these GoPros only last like 50, 55 minutes. Earlier on, I did join a couple of bridge attempts with those 2 teams, and we got a little bit of traction. We got some separation, but there was always some guys that jumped on who did have representation up the road who weren't doing any work, and it just made it really difficult to get an organized group together to bridge the gap. So eventually, I decided that I was just going to sit in. Probably futile for me to try to get off the front again. I can't keep going. I'm not really a breakaway guy. I can't just keep going and going and going like that. But just sitting in this field is really hard. And one of the major features of this course, and we'll talk about this a bit more later, but one of the major features is this monster hill. And like I said, it's like a crit. You're accelerating out of a ton of corners, and it's just sitting in isn't really very simple on this course. It still requires a lot of energy. This is me going up the hill for the second to last time. And all these efforts are going to catch up with me. You'll see in a moment here. I'm in good position here. This is the race leader in front of me, and I'm in good position. I want to remain up here towards the front, coming into the last lap, and I think we're going to go through the majority of the last lap. I'll walk you through the course and talk about maybe some tips on how to be successful on a course like this. But it was a really hot day. I forgot to mention, and I did mention I'm from California. I'm not used to this heat and this humidity. And I was just so sweating like a dog the whole race. And, the fitness is good, but I still hadn't really adjusted to the heat. So right at the top of that hill, kind of coming through here, it's kind of a false flat uphill through here. I just started to get those little twinges in my quads. And, it's a sign of leg cramps to come. So I kind of knew it was coming, and but you can't hide through here. You got to put down some power coming over the top, especially if you want to stay in good position like I am right now. I want to stay up towards the front, but I'm just kind of feeling it. 500 watt efforts are hurting a little bit. People are getting a little cagey. You can see that was the feed zone back there, and right here my right leg just locks up, and I'm just starting losing position and 0 watts. So I come off to the side here, and I just can't turn the pedals at all. 0 watts. You can see how quickly that makes a difference here. You always have to stay on the power, and I'm like screaming right now. I'm just pissed. I think my whole race is going to be over at this point, just because I cannot turn the pedals over. Lost all my position. Still 0 watts. Still not doing anything. And I tried there for a second. You can see I'm putting some power down, and now I'm trying to chase back on. Ooh, and I cramp again, back to 0 watts. So I'm just really fighting it here. I've unclipped. I'm stretching out my quad. Foot's on the saddle. I'm just really trying to work that knot out that is preventing me from turning my pedals over and generating any power. And I'm just kind of seeing the race take off in front of me. And clip back in here, you can see, okay, now I'm smashing some watts, and I'm just trying to get back up to the rear end of this train, and I get a little bit lucky because there is a lull in the race up there. So I'm still doing a really hard effort here, but it's manageable. I spiked up to like 800 watts there for a little bit, and that was just panic. I probably didn't need to do that, but I just don't want to. I want to get back into the shelter of the peloton as quickly as possible. And I can see I'm gaining on them here. I'm not having to do too much work. Got a little bit lucky here. I'm starting to pull it back, and just trying my best not to panic in this moment. But this is a first for me. I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys. If you have any tips for, like, you know, getting rid of a cramp as quickly as possible in this situation. Like I said, it's never happened to me before until this race. Usually if I'm cramping, my day is done anyway. I'm like really just at the limit of my fitness, but I was still feeling really good at this point in the race. I think it was just a problem of nutrition and hydration, and maybe I just wasn't doing it right. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have tips, let me know. Got lucky here, got back onto the back. There happened to be a really slow moment in the race. I think the front of the race has kind of resigned itself to letting the breakaway of 4 get away. They just never quite closed it down. So the breakaway of 4 is still clear at this point, and yeah, spoiler, they're not coming back. All right, so let's just take it in. Final 5Ks here. This is the last lap. Fast forward a little bit here. I'm still towards the back. I'm going to do everything I can to make up all that position I lost, because you bike racers know that, you know, you can spend like 30 minutes making up wheel after wheel and getting yourself up towards the front in really good position, and then you can make it, you know, one small mistake and lose all that ground. And in my case, I had that cramp. I've fallen back quite a bit, and now I am just going to try to get back up into good position. And I don't remember. This was a while ago, so let's see if I kind of work through it. This backside of the course has chicane after chicane, which is a quick left and then a quick right. And you can see that is one right there. And then you're just hit with these consecutive corners, which really strings things out, especially a couple of them are followed by little hills. So those probably not the best time to move up, unless you can find a good line through the corner and carry your speed through the chicane. Usually the guys on the front are rewarded for being on the front through these chicanes, because they can come flying through. Everyone else who is like 4 or 5 riders wide, like you can see through some of these, you're just battling, you know, the position and the lines that the people in front of you are taking. You can't pass people if it's like 4 wide. So yeah, here's another one. 700 watts, and just really holding my position here. I'm on my teammate's wheel on the right here. Taeroon Kit with the pink arms behind him now. And I yell at him, hey, I'm on your wheel, and he told me, hey, I'm not having a good day. So don't rely on me. So I'm gonna try to move up and get in that front pocket. See, there's like this pocket of 10, 12 riders that are going to remain in good position, basically, when it matters most towards the end of the race. That was a pretty good line there. I made up some ground on the outside. See if I can keep from getting pinched. Yeah, and then I took a tight corner on that right-hander. With these quick corners left to right like that in quick succession, is you have to decide. You can't go inside to inside unless you're on the front. So if you go outside, the next line is going to be the inside. Or if you start with the inside, your next line is going to be on the outside, if that makes any sense. So you have to think about that. You know, you have to set yourself up for the corner after the one that you're approaching. And so we're done with those. We come flying down this hill. People were doing a super tuck coming down this, which I guess it in some instances it helped you out a little bit, but more often than not, everyone was just jamming brakes right towards the bottom of this hill anyway. And like I said earlier, that is probably the main feature of this course is the hill that is right at the bottom of this downhill. So everyone spun out here. But at this point, you are just trying to preserve as much speed as possible into the bottom of this hill. And boom, you're hit with this, which is, well, it's a 950 watt effort right now. But basically, I'm going to say it's, I could look this up. I'm going to say it's like 12 to 15%. So it's really steep, but it doesn't last very long. Sorry for the, yeah, it's low light. It's all. This is later in the afternoon because it's a longer race, remember? And also this is underneath tree cover, so it was pretty dark. But you're hit with that hill, and then you have to just continue carrying your speed through this kind of false flat maybe 2%, 3% uphill through here, and there was a guy playing We Are the Champions from his house right there on the left. Extra motivation on the last lap. I like that. And here's Hayden, Texas Roadhouse rider in front of me. I should probably stay on that wheel. I don't think I do, though. I think I make a pretty big mistake right here. Yep, I should have just stayed on his wheel. Easy to say right here in my my desk chair, in a climate-controlled room, feeling nice and comfortable. Not after 80 miles of racing, but yeah, I should have stayed on that wheel. And like I alluded to earlier, guys, I want to be in this pocket of like 10 to 15, the top 10 to 15 riders who are actually going to dictate the end of this race. And I hadn't been there the last couple of days. You guys have seen my other coverage of the Intelligentsia Cup. I've really been struggling to be up in the mix like that. And at least this race, I'm up here now. You can see I'm in pretty good position. There isn't much control on the front, so when it's all swarmed up like this, it's just it's really easy to lose like 10 wheels, and it can be completely out of control. Oh, guy almost crashes behind me. I take a pretty bad corner through there because, hey, the guy in front of me took a weird kind of wobbly line, and then did a big acceleration through that corner, and now I am needing to get up there. We are less than 1,200 meters. And I need to get up there in the mix. See, there's still like probably 12 riders in front of me. Oh my God, it's just chaos on the right. So I try to pass all that, and then the whole pack closes down on my nice line I had through there. Again, I don't take a great line through there. Got passed by a couple of guys, but I'm fighting here, and I have a teammate behind me. And really, the one big mistake we made here is we could have been helping each other a lot more. Like either I bring him to the front, and I use all of my energy to bring him up towards the front for that final corner, or he brings me up to the front for the final corner. We're kind of racing like we're not even teammates right here, which is kind of embarrassing, actually. We could have done a lot better as teammates in this position, but yeah, I mean, the front's right up there. It's not far, right? It's like less than a second in front of me, and I'm doing my best here to move up on the outside, and I still have time. This is a good opportunity right here, so it'll slow down a bit, and there's the pocket. I mean, I can see the front rider up there. I should be a little bit more assertive between those riders. I could have moved up between those two guys, made up like 4 positions through there, and you can just see how much it's shuffling. When there isn't a team leading it out, when it isn't very fast, I mean, this is 34 miles an hour. It's fast, but it's not like 37, 38 miles an hour. I can still pass. Coming into this last corner, it's so dicey, and I am just out of position. Really should have been up there in the mix more. Still getting the hang of this racing, and I just open it up. I pass a few guys, but I kind of get dusted right here. Hey, better and better result each day, though. I was 22nd today. It's nothing to write home about, but it was fun to battle up there a little bit in those, top 12 sprinters. Could have been a lot more assertive, a lot more courageous there in the last corner, and I was still getting the hang of it. So, like I said earlier, guys, hang in there. I do get better in these field sprints, and I have a lot of really interesting content coming up for the duration of this series. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next one.